I seek refuge in Allah, the Exalted, from the accursed Satan, and I begin in the name of Allah, the most pure and blessed, the most merciful, the most compassionate. Respected viewers and listeners of Mystical Islam, peace be upon you. Dear friends, the world is full of strange and miraculous events that leave us in awe and amazement. Faith has the power to make the impossible possible, and today we are going to share with you one such extraordinary incident. This story is so incredible that you might find it hard to believe if you do not watch the video until the end. So, make sure to stay with us. The story revolves around a woman in Mecca who gave birth to a child. Right after the baby was born, it prostrated towards the Kaaba and spoke words so profound that the mother died on the spot, and the doctors present fell into prostration. Friends, this miraculous event will surely leave you astonished. But before we proceed, please make sure to subscribe to our channel, Mystical Islam, if you haven't already. And don't forget to click the bell icon to stay updated with our future videos. Also, share this inspiring story with your friends and family. Now, let's begin today's amazing story. Dear friends, many years ago, in a village in the Jazan region of Saudi Arabia, there lived a devout man named Abdullah. He was known throughout the village for his piety and purity. From his youth, Abdullah had never allowed his gaze to fall upon an unrelated woman, and he kept himself far from any act of indecency. He spent his days and nights engaged in worship, dedicating his life solely to Allah. Because of his deep devotion and the constant state of worship, people from nearby villages would visit him, seeking his prayers and blessings. Abdullah was an orphan, raised by an elderly scholar who had instilled in him the love and fear of Allah from a young age. After the scholar passed away, Abdullah secluded himself in a small chamber and continued his life of worship. He had a loyal disciple named Qasim, who looked after his basic needs, like bringing him food and water. Abdullah was so immersed in his prayers that sometimes he would forget to eat or drink for days. Merely gazing at his illuminated and serene face would bring peace to the hearts of those around him. However, in a nearby village, there lived a woman who was notorious for her immoral behavior. She was known for indulging in sinful activities, and many men had fallen prey to her beauty. One day, she visited Abdullah's village and heard about the young saint, especially how he had never once looked at a woman. This intrigued her, for she had never met a man who could resist her beauty. With arrogance and confidence, she made it her mission to meet him, determined to test his purity. One day, she went to Abdullah's chamber, hoping to confront him, but she was stopped by Qasim, who told her that Abdullah was busy in worship and could not meet her. The woman insisted, but Qasim refused to let her in. Frustrated, she left, but the challenge of facing someone who might not be swayed by her beauty lingered in her mind. She returned a few days later, this time using her charms to manipulate Qasim, convincing him to allow her inside Abdullah's chamber. As she entered, she saw Abdullah deep in prayer, completely unaware of her presence. His devotion and serene appearance left her momentarily in awe, but soon her determination to test him took over. She called out to him, saying, "O pious servant of Allah, I have come to you with a request." Abdullah, without raising his gaze, replied, "What brings you here? If you seek help, turn to Allah." The woman shamelessly asked him to look at her. Realizing her intentions, Abdullah became angry and said, "You have come with evil intentions. Leave before the punishment of Allah befalls you." The woman, shocked by his stern response, left in a rage. No man had ever rejected her before, and now Abdullah had not only refused her, but also humiliated her. Furious and vengeful, she concocted a plan to ruin him. She seduced Qasim, Abdullah's disciple, and began visiting him frequently. Before long, she became pregnant. When her condition became noticeable, she decided to frame Abdullah. One day, she gathered the villagers and loudly accused Abdullah of fathering her child. At first, the villagers did not believe her, knowing her character, but when Qasim, who had been manipulated by her, testified that she was telling the truth, the villagers turned against Abdullah. They stormed his chamber, dragged him out, and beat him mercilessly, ignoring his pleas of innocence. Unable to bear the torture, Abdullah died, and the woman rejoiced, feeling that she had finally avenged her rejection. However, Allah is just, and the truth cannot remain hidden forever. When the woman went into labor, she was taken to the hospital. There, something miraculous happened. As soon as the child was born, he spoke. The newborn declared that he was the son of Qasim and that Abdullah was innocent. He testified that his mother had falsely accused Abdullah, leading to his wrongful death. The doctors and nurses, overwhelmed by this miracle, fell into prostration, recognizing the divine nature of the event. The woman, struck with shock and terror, died instantly. The entire village, upon hearing this, was shaken with remorse. They realized their grave mistake and sought forgiveness from Allah for the injustice they had committed against his pious servant Abdullah. Qasim, overcome with guilt, repented for his role in the tragedy and spent the rest of his life in atonement. Friends, this story serves as a powerful reminder of Allah's justice. Even when the innocent are wronged in this world, Allah's justice will ultimately prevail. Abdullah, the pious servant of Allah, was vindicated after his death, and those who wronged him faced the consequences. Dear viewers, this story is a profound testament to the justice of Allah. No matter how dire the circumstances or how deeply the truth is buried, Allah ensures that justice prevails. The wrongful death of Abdullah teaches us a powerful lesson. The world may be filled with trials, but faith and righteousness will always be vindicated by the most merciful. We must remain steadfast in our devotion and guard ourselves against the deceptions of the world, for nothing escapes the sight of Allah. May this story inspire us to strengthen our faith and seek justice through patience and prayer. Remember, friends, every soul will be held accountable, and the truth will eventually emerge, just as it did in Abdullah's case. We should strive to live our lives in accordance with the teachings of Islam, knowing that Allah's justice will always prevail, whether in this life or the next. Thank you for joining us on this journey of reflection and faith. Please continue to support Mystical Islam by subscribing to our channel and sharing this story with your loved ones. May Allah bless you all, protect you from harm, and guide us all on the path of righteousness. Until we meet again, peace and blessings be upon you.